Hello, my name is Michael Gallagher. I'm in charge of painting conservation at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Welcome to Curator's Cut, a series developed especially for our members and patrons. You will realize I'm not a curator. I said I'm a conservator, but we're seeking all the time innovative and creative ways to bring you our content and collections while you're at home at this very challenging time. I'm going to talk through a painting that I was lucky to work on a few years ago by an artist who you may not be familiar with, Joaquim Beuckelaer. So let me pull up the painting. And there it is. As I say, this is Joaquim Beuckelaer, painter from Antwerp, and it was painted in 1568. My colleague, Marion Ainsworth, curator for Northern Renaissance painting, had long sought this type of genre scene. And we were very excited when this particular picture became available. The genre had been developed by an artist called Peter Ertzen, and Beuckelaer was his nephew and continues the tradition. You're seeing, the picture depicts, perhaps I'll start there, a bustling market scene, people queuing to buy fish. There's a little bit of innuendo going on, as there often is in these types of paintings, between the fishmonger and the woman on the right. You're also seeing the picture before I treated it. It had to have structural work that was undertaken by colleagues George Osaka and Alan Miller. And then I also removed the very discolored varnish that is in place still here. It mutes the color and the tonality. And if I go on to the painting after cleaning, you possibly might be alarmed, I'm going to use the cursor, by these white lines. Nothing too serious, actually. The panel is made out of 5 boards, and over time they'd opened up a little, caused a little bit of paint loss. So that's where I've put in a filling material prior to retouching. But what I would really draw your attention to is the overall excellent condition. Very few losses, apart from those, a few scattered ones up here, and as I say, just along the joins, but otherwise quite remarkable. And if I go to the after cleaning, after treatment, with those losses closed up, you'll see what a vibrant picture this is. One of the pleasures of working on a painting is the intimate knowledge we gain about the artist's materials and techniques. Not so much as a sort of laundry list, but as an insight into the artist's preoccupations and how he or she went about developing a composition. You're looking here at the infrared reflectogram. That's a technology that permits us to image underdrawing that's been executed in a carbon-based medium. And Beuckelaer did a very, very lively drawing for this painting. I'm hoping you can see here, if I use the little cursor, just how confident and vibrant that drawing is. I found throughout the painting that there were some changes of mind about placement of figures, but overall the general conception must have been predetermined, because it's not as if the fishmonger was on the right at one point or anything like that. Though the picture is not damaged, there have been changes. That's very natural, as with all master paintings. The whole composition is probably a little bit more muted, warmer in tone than it once was. The oil from the paint is soaked into the chalk ground a little bit and turned it a little more yellow. So where that is visible through the paint layers, it's not as white as it once was. Also, colors like the green, the copper-based green in the fishmonger's jerkin has gone much darker. The red lake colors, those are organic dyes precipitated onto something like chalk to make a pigment. Those deep reds, raspberry reds have become much more muted, a little muddy. That's what has happened to the sleeve here of the woman who's waiting patiently to buy her fish. She also has the blue pigment, smalt. It was a sort of relatively cheap alternative to more expensive blues, made from cobalt-containing glass. And that pigment loses its color over time. And so this slightly grayed out appearance is a natural change. It doesn't diminish the painting as such, but it's important to be able to see the difference, or understand the difference, I should say, between what the artist intended and what has changed over time. This is a detail after cleaning and after treatment. This wonderful pieces of salmon, beautifully rendered with vermilion rich paint. And then the huge cod that is quite dominant in the entire composition. And one of the aspects, if you look after cleaning, this is the yellow-brown tone of the ground I was talking about. There's also some drying cracks in medium-rich areas. And the consequence was that that there was a feeling of slightly that the tail and the head had parted company. And so very conservative, judicious retouching allows that fish to read as a whole again. Any retouching we do is documented. It is executed with materials that are very stable, and the most important thing is at any point in the future it can be safely removed without affecting the original. The great glory of this painting is Beuckelaer's incredibly painterly execution. Almost throughout, he uses a sort of technique of a fairly simple modeling from light to dark, that is then enlivened with additional brushwork. So these fish were first laid in almost like a grisaille, sort of in monochrome. And then if I zoom, I think you can see just how dazzling the brushwork is. This crisscrossing of black, the little dabs, chattering dabs of white paint. They both show the patterns on the fish and suggest a sort of gleam of these sort of slippery, fresh produce. They're really, really glorious. I hope if you're curious to learn more about Beuckelaer or this painting or its provenance, you will check out Marion Ainsworth's excellent catalogue entry that is available at any time on our website. European Paintings has incredibly detailed catalogue entries of the whole collection, pretty much. Very easy to find. And I think it's sort of poignant, certainly I feel that way, to look at a scene like this right now, when we're all at home and practicing social distancing. Who would have thought a busy market scene could be so enticing and pull at the heartstrings a little. I'm looking forward to seeing it again in the flesh, as it were, in the galleries. It will mean I'll be back at work in the museum, back working with colleagues I hold very dear. In the meantime, I want to thank you for your support of the museum, which is more important than ever, for all you do for the arts and for your communities, and for staying safe at home. Thank you so much.